Hello and welcome to another Naraka 101. My name is Deldir, and today we'll be talking about Tessa. Tessa has a very loaded kit. Her kit features anything from self-peel, which is a gold focus that can be used while under attack, to having her own form of crowd control. Now let's get right into her abilities. Tessa's first ability, Tail Strike, knocks nearby enemies airborne with a foxtail and she gains foxfire for 3 seconds. The next time she is staggered, she will explode, staggering nearby enemies, knocking them backwards. This can be used while under attack. Upon activation, this will knock back nearby enemies, giving you Foxfire. The next stagger you receive will knock back nearby enemies. And remember that this ability can be used while under attack. Tessa's second ability, Tail Strike Trap, unleashes her foxtail and summons a tail glow zone in the aimed direction that lasts for 6 seconds once it lands on the ground. Enemies that are within the zone are pulled to its center and take a small amount of damage. Upon activation, Tail Strike Trap will send out a small zone. This can directly impact an enemy, stagger them 3 times, do a small amount of damage, and pull them to the center. If the ground is struck instead, it'll stay there for 6 seconds, or until triggered, whichever comes first. This ability can be aimed directly into the air. The trap is also capable of beating gold focuses from weapons. However, it has no effect on gold focus from character abilities. Tail Strike Trap cannot be used while under attack, so please keep this in mind while utilizing it. Moving on to combos, due to the amount of staggers that Tail Strike Trap puts on your opponent, you are not capable of getting a horizontal and uppercut as a true combo. The only way for this to become a true combo is by hitting them during the first rotation of the ability. If your opponent is struck by all 3 Tail Strikes, you may get a 1.0 or a stage 1 focus, or you may opt to go for an uppercut combo. Anything beyond these combos are not true. Tessa's first ultimate is called Enchant. Tessa summons the Fox Spirit in aimed direction that snatches the enemy's soul, storing in a soul vessel. Enemies who fail to interact with the soul vessel and retrieve their soul within 6 seconds will be enchanted for 3 seconds. This ultimate costs 55% rage to cast. Enchanted enemies cannot move or attack and are drawn gradually over to the soul vessel. Enchanted ends early if they take a certain amount of damage. Enemies hit by this ultimate are then immune to it until they interact with the soul vessel or for 4 seconds after the status effect ends. When you're struck by Tessa's ultimate initially, you'll be staggered for a short amount of time and given a timer next to your character. This timer can be averted by walking up to the soul vessel and interacting with it. After the first charge used of Enchant that actually lands on a target, your rage will be suspended from regenerating for 15 seconds after. No matter what you do, even attacking, you will not gain rage until the 15 seconds are up. Both of Tessa's current ultimates have a 32-meter range, allowing you to engage from quite a far distance using your ultimate. Once the enemy is struck, a small timer to the right of the character will show up and start counting down. Once the timer reaches 0, the enemy will enchant it, making them unable to move or attack for 3 seconds, and a purple bar will go over their health or armor. This is the threshold needed to break the enchant. If you've already been struck by Tessa's ultimate and managed to get enchanted, you may be immune to the enchant effect further, but if you were struck by Tessa's ultimate again, you will still be staggered, allowing Tessa to follow up with a combo if she's close enough. Tessa's second ultimate, Enchant Bite, summons the Fox Spirit in aimed direction that snatches the enemy's soul, storing in a soul vessel. Enemies who fail to interact with a soul vessel and retrieve their soul within 6 seconds will take damage. This ultimate costs 55% rage to cast. Tessa restores a large amount of health as the target takes damage. Enemies hit by this ultimate are then immune to it until they enter the soul vessel or for 4 seconds after the ultimate deals them damage. Tessa's second ultimate is similar to the first. If you are hit, you are temporarily stunned, and when the timer ticks down, you'll take a ton of damage that will go directly to your health. Tessa will heal for the damage done. If Tessa's ultimate strikes multiple opponents, she will heal for the amount that the opponents are hit for, allowing you to restore a large amount of health in one sitting. A small note before we move on to utilization, Tessa's ultimate is capable of going through walls. Both variations are capable of doing this, and it acts the same way. Tessa's ultimate is extremely powerful and is capable of even staggering transformers such as Monk or Tianhai. It not only is the initial cast capable of staggering him, but he is not immune to being enchanted. Yushan in his transformed form is also not immune to being enchanted. The initial stagger also works on Feria during lockdown mode and will also enchant her while in her mech, leaving her vulnerable. Even though the Transformers are not safe from Tessa's ultimate, there are some characters who have abilities that are. An example of this would be Kurumi's Umbrella. If you properly time the tether teleport, you're capable of dodging the charm. Matari's teleporter is also a great way to dodge this enchant, and it's also quite easy depending on how many teleports you're currently running on Matari. Temulk's ability is also capable of dodging Tessa's enchant. Wu Chen's abilities are also capable of dodging. Teleporting between Yoto Hime's attacks during her ultimate also make her immune to the enchant effect. A common misconception is that Tessa's ultimate is similar to Viper's ultimate, as in that it requires line of sight. This is not true. Jades such as Shadow Step are not capable of dodging Tessa's ultimate. Moving on to talents, while playing Tessa, I've noticed that her ultimate is quite powerful, so I want to maximize its usage while also maintaining having 3 dodges. So I'll run something around this, half rage. You can take out a couple of the blue runes and maybe put some cooldown reduction, or put more or less rage depending on your own preferences, but this is what I've been running on her and it's been very powerful. It allows me to use my ultimate to keep my enemies CC'd and under pressure, if you're wanting to maximize your survivability. If you're wanting to increase your survivability, you can afford to change out some of these blue grapple distance runes in favor of some cooldown reduction. Given that the main F that I run is her first F, Tail Strike, it does have a long cooldown at 27 seconds. Sacrificing grapple distance for a couple cooldown would definitely trim this down a little bit. Moving on to cultivation. When you first start playing Tessa, you will not have access to all of her abilities. In order to unlock them, you have to do a series of challenges that will teach you more about the character's lore behind the scenes. The challenges do get progressively more difficult, but you're only required to do the first 2 series of them in order to unlock all of her abilities currently out. Hello and welcome to the end of another Naraka 101. I would like to start off by saying thank you to Naraka Bladepoint. My name is Daldir, and I'll see you next time. Bye.